Let's go into the night with Rick Ballou on 1010XL 92.5 FM.
Hurt my hand today on the lawnmower, and tell you what, I'm going to play through it here tonight, on into the night, because I considered calling in. I'm actually more concerned about being able to grip a beer, perhaps a Pabst Blue Ribbon. It's tasting pretty good right now. And, boy, what that'll do when I grab a golf club coming up this weekend. So we were talking about that recently. Yeah, I still cut my lawn. You know, I think it's good. It's a man's way of thinking when you're, just cutting up the earth and you're looking at all the leaves and all of the sticks that fall. And I got one of those retention ponds in my backyard that has gators and moccasins and spitting cobras and black mambas and ducks and all of that. And it's good. You work up a lather. You feel better about yourself. You can look around and say, look at this now. The lawn looks great. And I feel much better. But, yeah, major injury today. I went to go adjust the lawnmower, raise it, and somehow grab the muffler. So, again, I am far less than 100%, and I appreciate you out there and your concern. It is April Fool's, and I'm not really a prankster, okay? I love a good time. I love to laugh. When we laugh, we forget about all our troubles, correct? Well, let me tell you something. When I rolled out of bed this morning, and it was early, I think it was about 10 minutes of 11. I saw the Tiger Woods blast, and, man, that set me back. I got to give it. I never knew that Tiger really had that type of sense of humor. If you didn't see it, Tiger Woods said today, I can't believe I am saying this, but a few weeks after rupturing my left Achilles, the sleeping in the hyperbaric chamber plus explosive lifts, my doctors and trainers have me ready to play at the Masters next week. Can't wait to see you on the course. I bought it. I even had a couple of cups of coffee at that particular time. And then it did occur to me it's April 1st. And it can be dangerous. It can be cruel, some of these pranks. For the most part, it should be, about a good time. But maybe you can share one with us tonight at 641-1010 on the text line. Brought to you by Lifetime Enclosures, about an outstanding one that, you've pulled off or you've had it happen to you. If so, by all means, bring that to our attention. All right, we got plenty to do here over the next couple of hours. I'm really excited. The NFL's owners' meetings continues, and, I have an agenda here because my opinion on NFL owners is that all they care about is money. And that's sad because I can't relate, right? I mean, if you're making $15 an hour and someone offers you $17.50, that's a big raise. If you're making $30K a year and someone offers you $50K a year, that's a big raise. If you're making $250,000 a year and someone offers you $400,000 a year, that's a big raise. But when you're making billions and billions and billions, what is more on top of that? Again, I don't know. Okay, it's monopoly money to me. I can't even put myself in that world, but I look at the owners, and they seem not aligned, that's for sure. And we saw it with the tush push today. That's going to be tabled until May. Reportedly, 16 teams support banning the tush push. You need 24 out of the 32 to get the 75% in order to pass it. But that is picking up some steam. Again, they'll meet again coming up in May after having these meetings here in South Florida in Palm Beach. But it's concerning to me because I honestly do wonder this. Do the owners have the best interest of the game? Do they have the best interest of the consumer, you, the fan? Obviously not. They wouldn't charge those outrageous prices for booze and for hot dogs and for food. And I know everyone does it. It's not only the NFL. It's college. It's every sport. Arthur Blank is the exception in Atlanta. But it is. It's deplorable, the amount of money that is charged concession-wise to go to a sporting event. And it's the same thing if you go to a concert. It's the same thing if you do really anything that involves entertainment. But again, the question I asked was, do they have you in their best interest? Do they have the fans in their best interest? No, you're a number to them. Please renew your season tickets. We're going to up the price, yada, yada, yada. End of conversation. All right. Also, what is very disturbing to me is that it feels like when owners get together, it's so obvious how they can't come to agree on some of the most simplistic things about this game. As I just said, the Hayes car line, you can roll into a bar right now and you can talk to guys who work 40, 50, 60-hour weeks outside in the blazing sun or inside in the office, and common sense will tell you what's better for this game. They don't get it because I think they look at one thing and one thing only, right? That's more money. So what are they going to do? 7 international games this year? Not enough. How about 10 in 2026? 16-game schedule, 4 preseason games? Hell no. Let's go to 17-3. Look at the big conversation today. 18-2. Now, I start talking about things like this, and immediately it's jam it up, Ballou. I know you're making a point, but they're giving us an extra NFL Sunday. They're going to give us an extra week of pro football. The consumer now, the fan now, every single one of you loves this. I've never heard ever too much football, too many games. I barely have ever heard the length of a game being problematic, except for if you're in attendance and the instant replay takes place. I really don't even hear those complaints if you watch the game from your couch or, from a bar room. But that came out today. CBS Sports Insider Jonathan Jones said Roger Goodell has already had conversations with NFL Players Association Executive Director Lloyd Howell. They're talking about adding an extra game. It could be as early as 2026, 2027. Now, the collective bargaining agreement goes through the year 2030, but you can always get together if you're talking about one specific situation. In this case, going to 18 games to preseason games. According to Jonathan Jones, you'd have a game Labor Day weekend. That would be week 1. Okay. You would add a second bye week. So the NFL season would actually be extended by 2 more weeks, which in a town like this, in good old Duval, which is a one-horse town, you're adding 2 extra weeks of pro football to the calendar year. Hell yeah. Every single one of you is going to take it. And they would reportedly have the Super Bowl on the Sunday right before President's Day. Therefore, it would be a vacation for most of you on that Monday. The preseason, as we said, would go from 3 until 2 games. Okay. That is an idea that is going to happen. That is going to be better for everyone involved. But again, they're not doing it for the love of the game. They're not doing it for the appreciation of this outstanding sport. No, they're doing it because it's going to put more money in their pocket. All right. Common sense says you've had too many injuries. Common sense says dial it back, right? They're not. They're pushing forward. But instead of being honest about it, and even when you're given concise, accurate information, numbers that specify why it is a problem, they just look the other way because they have an opportunity to make that much more money. Okay. NFL's owners meetings. let's get to some of the really impressive stuff. Like, how about 3 games on Christmas? I mean, this is the best. We had it a year ago, right? 3 games on Christmas. But, again, it's about money. So if you're old, okay, and you just are going to go to cable, or you're going to go to DirecTV, no. They're going to stream them on Netflix, 2 of them, and they're going to stream the other on Amazon. So all the young whippersnappers, all of the youth of America, they're all about this, right? I mean, they absolutely can point you in the right direction. But if you're a little bit longer in the tooth and you remember such things as, I don't know, Paul Tagliabue, Jim Brown, Franco Harris, O.J. Simpson, Roger Staubach, Warren Moon, Barry Sanders, Pat Summerall, and John Madden. Maybe you had to get up and turn the TV, physically. Good luck. Christmas Day, you better hope that you have your children there, because it's going to be only on Netflix and Amazon. All right, couple of other things. Kickoffs. And this is, to me, the biggest culprit of them all. They took away the kickoff. And why did they take away the kickoff? They took it away because they said there were too many injuries with kickoff returns. So they put forward this bizarre new, whatever you want to call it, that looks like a Vince McMahon XFL development, or something out of arena football, or maybe something out of the Canadian Football League. Again, no one likes. And if so, let me know. 641-1010 on the text line, brought to you by Lifetime Enclosures. I don't know of anyone who likes the new kickoff rule. All right? So what did they do? Touchback, you take it at the 30-yard line. Now they're saying, let's force teams to kick where it lands between the 5 and 10-yard line. If not, we're going to move it up to the 35-yard line. They're talking about an actual projection that will go somewhere from 70 to 75% as far as the return rate, after an all-time league low of 32.8 during the 2024 season. That goes exactly against what they said. And their excuse is, well, wait a minute, we've gotten rid of the 30 to 40 yards of running down the field. Now the compact is not the same. The collision is not the same. The injuries are not going to be the same. Did you and I and everyone else who watched the game watch Tank Bigsby get his bell rung and get knocked out of the game? A first-round knockout? Did we not see that just this past year? So they mentioned that, and that is one that is going to actually come into fruition. Overtime rules are going to be the same now in the playoffs as they are in the regular season. That's one I actually agree with. Why would you change rules? Regular season to playoffs when it comes to overtime. Why would you do something? Just because hockey does it. I mean, hockey does a gimmick in the regular season. They go 3-on-3 for 5 minutes. And most of those games end with a game winner because there's so much ice, and all it takes is one mistake, and you got a 2-on-1, or you got a breakaway, you got a guy looking alone at the net, and most times you get a goal. But the NFL, 15 minutes, both teams get the football. If you score first in the regular season, game over. In the playoffs, you still get another opportunity. That is going to be switched now. That went through a little bit earlier today. And finally, Sony Hawk's technology on first downs. This is where the common sense comes into play. Should have done this 10 years ago. With apologies to the Chang gang, keep them out there as a backup. Take advantage of the technology that we have today. And this should involve everything when it comes down to instant replay. Did he not get both feet in? Did he have possession? Was it a first down? All right. It's simple. Look at what's going on in our life. Everything that is happening as we move forward. Why not take advantage of this? It's going to be called the Sony Hawk technology on first downs. So no longer are you going to see the Chang gang run out to the middle of the field and a referee pull the chain and measure as to whether or not you picked up a first down or not, it is going to be sent from a sky judge above. So finally, out of everything I went through, some common sense. And that is a good thing. All right. We're going to be very busy here tonight. I do want to bring in Travis Holmes because he wrote something really intriguing on Big Cat Country, and I want to get his opinion on Liam Cohen yesterday and what he believes the Jaguars are going to do. But I want to shift back to this a little bit later on in the program. And it's your opportunity as a NFL fan, not only Jaguar fans, but as an NFL fan, to really voice your opinion. We always do that on Into the Night. It's not hogwash where I ask for your opinion, then don't go to you. You know I do. And it's a routine that happens day and night. And in this case, obviously, Into the Night. I'm just intrigued by where you are with this game and why common sense is not used. And, I know that no one is going to support an 18 game or not liking an 18 game regular season. Heck, I'm going to like it. More football is fine. But the way that they do it and cover it up with talk about injuries or the lack thereof is just awful. I mean, just come on out and say what it is, right? You're using these players until they have nothing left. And when they don't have anything left or they're injured, you push them to the side and you just bring in someone else. And it doesn't have any effect on the game. It doesn't have any effect on these owners. It just doesn't. We saw what Jimmy Haslam said yesterday about Deshaun Watson, man. It's in one day, out the next. It's just fascinating to me. So we're going to give you that opportunity to voice your opinion. 641-1010, where you are with this game. A couple of other things I didn't mention, which I'll get to in a little bit, and this is actually really good news for the Jaguars. They have tabled the playoff seedings. That's picking up steam as well. You got a really bad division, a dysfunctional one, like the AFC South. There's a lot of talk that wild card teams should host, that wild card teams with a better record should be ahead of the 8 divisional winners if your record is not the same as one of those wild card teams. That's good news for Jacksonville. And that actually was decided today that is going to be tabled along with the tush push. So good chance for you to get on in and give us the very latest as far as the way you're thinking about the NFL. All right, opening comments are brought to you by Shmunez Vision. Cut the lawn today, wore glasses. Make sure you do that, especially this time of year. There's a lot of stuff that has fallen from trees, and I can't imagine what it would be like to have something ricochet off that lawnmower and catch you in the eye. You also may be experiencing a lot of itching, a lot of difficult times because of allergies right now. That's really common, especially with pollen. Well, make an appointment today at Shmunez Vision. They're an expert in that field. You sit down in the chair, they'll tell you exactly what it is that you have. An allergy, pollen. Maybe it's not either one, another allergy or pollen. I don't know, but they'll be able to tell you immediately. Then you look at Dr. John Hunt and Dr. Catherine Shmunez, Dr. Neo Shmunez, and you're talking about more than 30 years worth of experience when it comes to eye surgery, right? It can be something rewarding for you, like laser eye surgery, 20/20 for the rest of your life. Or it can be something that is dangerous but needs to be fixed immediately, like cataract surgery. For all the details, let's go to Shmunez Vision. Again, you can pull them up online, also get the testimonials by going to Instagram and Shmunez Vision as well. JJ LaSelva is here. My goodness, man. You got a fresh cut. You looking good. It's been a little while.
You.
Been a little bit.
It's been exactly 1 year to the day that I was moved off of this show.
It's been a whole year?
April 1st. Because everyone was like, is this an April Fool's joke?
Wow.
Great timing.
It hasn't been. It hasn't really been a whole year.
I was shocked to think about that today.
All right. Well, it's good to have you with us tonight.
It's good to be here.
Yeah, we'll have a lot of fun over the next couple hours. We'll get JJ's opinion on the variety of of topics that I mentioned coming out of the NFL owners meeting. See, my approach is I want the game to be better for you, the fan. I don't want the game to be more wealthy for the owner. There's a difference there. And it feels like everything that they do is about lining their pockets more. I'm more concerned with Joe Sixpack, okay? The common fan. Make the game better for him. Make the game better for her. That's my approach. And I've given you my opinion. We're going to get to yours on the other side. We're also going to hear from Travis Holmes of Big Cat Country. Thrilled to have you with us, a Tuesday edition of Into the Night.
The Green Bay Packers.
This is Hall of Famer Jerry Kramer. Has a nice ring, doesn't it?
They won their fourth under Vince Lombardi.
And you are listening to 1010 XL.
Ballou here for Smoonez Vision. Why Smoonez Vision? Well, I've been with Dr. Neil Smoonez now since I got back to Jacksonville in 2006. 37 years of experience he has. Smoonez Vision is a family organization that focuses on personal high-quality medical and surgical eye care. Dr. Catherine Smoonez is fellowship-trained in cornea and cataract surgery and all refractive surgery. Combined, that's 30 years plus in laser eye surgery. Visit SmoonezVision.com today. Here you can see.
Beat the spring cleaning rush and call our cleaning heroes at Zero Res. This month, get Zero Resified and take 25% off all services. Visit ZeroResJacksonville.com and tell them Hicken or 1010XL sent you.
Zero Res.
All right, Ballou here. Let's get real for a minute. Losing weight isn't fun, right? Especially when your life involves being surrounded by good food at every event imaginable. There was one yesterday. It was just sensational. Believe me, I get it. But thanks to Awaken 180, I'm already down 10 pounds, feeling sharper, more energized, never hungry. This isn't some juice diet or starving yourself nonsense. I'm eating food that tastes great. Even when I'm out on the road, here's the beauty. Awaken 180 gives you the game plan to handle real-life situations. I've been hitting plenty of events lately, temptation everywhere, and I've managed to stay on track. Very excited about this, all right? It's huge. 10 pounds down, energy way up, hunger totally controlled. If you're tired of carrying around the extra weight, tired of diets that just don't work, it's time to check in with Awaken 180. Take it from me, Hacker, Dempsey, Hayes, basically everyone. It's easy, it works, and it's real. Go to Awaken180weightloss.com.
The housing market is as busy as ever on the First Coast. And if you've moved in or moved on, make sure you have a team of trained electricians ready to help. American Electrical can make sure you're up to date electrically and maximize your living experience. Smart home automation services, home theater systems, outdoor and dock lighting, and backup generators. American Electrical can do it all. A team you can trust with highly trained technicians ensuring you have the best living experience. American-Electrical.com, a leader on the First Coast and powered by professionalism.
Been in a car crash? I'm local attorney Rick Alexander, and I've made it our mission at the Alexander Law Practice to listen to you so I can fight for the best possible result for you. I've been practicing over 30 years, and our team focuses on guiding you through the entire process. And because fees and reimbursement costs come out at the end of the case, I will never ask you to come out of pocket. For a free review, call 904-400-6600 or log on to alexanderlawpractice.com, Jacksonville.
Jumbo Shrimp Baseball opens today at the newly renovated VyStar Ballpark. Come early for opening day street carnival and don't miss post-game fireworks. Don't miss Thirsty Thursday and fireworks Friday and Saturday. Baseball all week and weekend. Tickets start at just $5. JackShrimp.com for tickets. Jumbo Shrimp Baseball, affordable family fun.
The best teal-colored coverage includes Mia's Quick Hits.
Get the latest news from inside the building and around the league. I'm Mia O'Brien, 1010XL's NFL Insider.
Driven by Arlington Toyota. Available on the video and social channels of 1010XL.
Keep
Keeping kids active is a full-time job for parents. Look no further, though, than I-9 Sports, covering Duval, St. John's, and Clay to get your youngster in the game. Spring and summer registration open right now for flag football, soccer, t-ball, and basketball. Plus, all new girls volleyball at Duval Charter Bay Meadows. I-9 Sports with fields and gyms all over 3 counties. And the best thing is I-9 Sports offers sports year-round so kids can always find a sport to play. i9sports.com. Enter 1010 in the promo code.
Listen up, fellow Gen Xers. Elizabeth Banks here. The recommended age for pneumococcal pneumonia vaccination has been lowered to 50 and older, even if you're healthy. It's up to us to lead the way. We've done this before. Music videos, fanny packs, even the World Wide Web. Let's do it again and get vaccinated, because we're at over 6 times greater risk for pneumococcal pneumonia. Gen X, this is our shot. Visit vaxassist.com and schedule a vaccine today. Sponsored by Pfizer.
If you're at home on the range, tee it up with the Edwin Watts Golf Hour. Tour news, local updates, and the latest gear. The Edwin Watts Golf Hour. Saturday morning at 10 on 1010XL.
Plumbing problem? AC not blowing cool? Septic tank backing up? No need to call 3 different companies. Just call Duck Duck Rooter. At Duck Duck Rooter, we do it all. Plumbing, septic, and air conditioning with expert technicians in each department. One company, one call, one easy bill. No hassle, no runaround, just fast professional service from highly skilled techs who know their stuff. Need help? Call 904-862-6769 today and let Duck Duck Rooter handle it all. DuckDuckRooter.com.
David Lane here, and once again, I'm happy to share news of my success with back and knee surgeries at Southeast Orthopedic Specialist. Whatever it is that's bothering you, take it from me. Simply set an appointment today at Southeast Orthopedic Specialist and let them help you get back to normal life. I'm certainly glad I did.
Relieve pain and get back to life. Southeast Orthopedic Specialist.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Into the Night with Rick Ballou on 1010XL 92.5 FM.
JJ LaSalva is here. A little Tuesday night stroll, Phillips Highway style.
Bringing back memories, Rick.
You know, the Jaguars are going to win a Super Bowl, and everyone's going to go down Bay Street and cut up through 95. You and I are going to take that little exit and party down on Phillips Highway. We'll start at the Gator Lodge, go through the Centerfold, a couple of those other great bars there, historically speaking. You know what's going to happen. It's just a matter of time. At least that's the way I think. Travis Holmes in 30 seconds. I want to introduce our brand new sponsor. A buddy of mine, Alexander Law Practice, especially if you are in a car crash, all right? Rick Alexander, he has made it his mission to fight for you the best possible result that you can possibly have is what his law firm will be all about. We're talking about 30 years worth of experience here. His team focuses on guiding you through the entire process, and he also understands that fees and reimbursement, they come at the end of the case. Therefore, Alexander Law will never ask you to come out of pocket. If you have been wronged, if you are injured, whether it's a car crash or something else, right now, sign yourself up for a free review. 400-6600 is the number, 400-6600, or log on to alexanderlawpractice.com. Travis Holmes is with Big Cat Country. How you doing, Travis?
Oh, man, you have me a little jacked up right now. You came in from the break with so fresh and so clean. Like, that's what I call music. I'm feeling good, bro.
Well, JJ LaSalva's back. That was our Tuesday go-to for forever, so we had to bring you into that and getting this town hyped up a little bit. We needed to bring you in here to improve the ecosystem just a tad bit.
All right. I'm here for it.
What do you make so far? I mean, we're trying to figure everything out. A 34-year-old general manager, a first-time head coach, the most successful player to ever play in franchise history, kicked upstairs to the executive vice president. What's your early opinion on these three?
Man, I try my best to be as pessimistic as possible normally. I mean, I have this team makes me drink shirt for a reason. And even with me purposefully trying not to get excited about the things that's being said and the actions that I'm seeing take place, it's hard not to kind of start at least drinking a little bit of the teal Kool-Aid.
Yeah.
They're saying the things that you're supposed to say when you're a winning organization as far as building through the draft. They're backing that up in their actual free agent moves so far. Like, they're actually being transparent in seemingly everything from the interview process early on to the free agent process, and saying, hey, we're probably going to draft multiple defensive linemen. Hey, this is likely what we're going to do, giving you true insight. It's becoming a little bit difficult, like whether or not they went on the field, at least process-wise, I'm a fan of it because no one's winning games right now. But they're saying the right things, and I got to give them credit on it.
Yeah, it's fresh and it's new, and it does feel transparent. I think the former regime felt forced. Balky didn't want to talk to anyone. Peterson felt tired towards the end. So I love what they're doing. 10 free agents, 8 on the offense, 4 the offensive line, only 2 defensive signees or free agents, both aging defensive backs. They'll be 30 and 31 respectively once the season begins, and not a huge splash. Do you like what they did in free agency?
When you say you believe as a core tenet in building through the draft, and then you back that up in application in practice, then cool, I guess. Like, I don't know how to feel about it because maybe I'm just a little bit jaded. Maybe I'm a little bit used to the history of this team in which we're just going to lead the league in funds spent in free agency, and whether or not that's a good thing or a bad thing is kind of historically been a bad thing, then yeah, I kind of have to believe, all right, maybe if you say you're going to win through the draft and you're going to build through the draft, then I can't slam the table for you not bringing in the top guys who I thought might have been the best options, if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
So we'll see if that's a winning product, but at the end of the day, we say you want to be something like the Green Bay Packers. You want to be like the Pittsburgh Steelers. You want to be like the Baltimore Ravens. Well, these are teams that historically just build through the draft and they patchwork with free agency. If you want to copy that route, copy that same philosophy with the late Rams, the most recent iteration of the Rams, then cool. I will give you that space to make this work or to make it not work, and then judge it at that point.
Travis Holmes, our guest. He is with Big Cat Country. Joins Rick Ballou as we go into the night. I really thought that there was way too comfortable of a feeling around here with losing. And, the greatest example I had was in Philadelphia, that great game, and I got up in Philly with Josh Hines-Allen after, and he started it by congratulating both teams and saying what an effort, and I like him an awful lot, but I was like, you got to be kidding me. You guys just lost the game. I mean, it's simple. It's wins and it's losses. But this team, it feels like this new organization has said, listen, we're getting rid of just about all of you. We're getting rid of as many of you as we can. And, to the point where they haven't re-signed even one of their own unrestricted free agents. Do you think there's something to that about being comfortable with losing, or is this roster just so bad, particularly, let's say 40 through 53, that they're saying, see you to them all and let's bring in some new blood?
I think you kind of can argue either side of that, and I honestly can't speak to which one, like where that line lies. But at the end of all of it, I think there are some individual cases where it's absolutely guys who are, way too comfortable with losing, or their tape visually shows you that they're not putting in the appropriate amount of effort that is needed, or the appropriate amount of work off the field that is needed and necessary to be a winning organization. There are absolutely players and examples that you can pull from in this past regime, but also as an overall viewpoint of the roster, as an overall construction from Trent Baalke, this was not what they needed. This is not the outcome that you needed with the amount of funds and the amount of draft picks that you put into it. Like, again, they tried to invest in in the lines and just haven't succeeded. They invested in very many areas, cornerback, in the safety room, etc. And these are still places where we need to now revamp all of those position groups. So at the end of all of it, I'm simply saying, hey, there's a little bit of both. I had personal experience. I played for UCF. At one point, we lost every game in the season. We weren't good enough. So that's partially true. But also, yeah, there's individual cases for. You can argue that both ways, but so they needed to take out guys and get their own guys in. They needed a little bit more of an edge to get some guys who are truly going to be some dogs and try to fight for their right to be on this roster because they know that there's going to be rookies brought in to compete with, and they needed some guys to bring in to compete with the guys already on this roster because you realistically can't flip an entire roster in one offseason.
No, you wrote about it today, intangibly rich. That's what they're trying to do, find intangibly rich players. I guess Ted McMillan would not be a part of that since he doesn't watch football. He doesn't watch film. It almost feels like he doesn't like the game. Do you get the same sense that I don't think it's Phil Jackson and it's Zen, but raising the floor, the ecosystem, intangibly rich, a 34-year-old general manager who seems brilliant, but it feels like this team is looking for some things that honestly I've never heard of another brass look for prior.
Well, I'm sure you've heard of it, and you haven't heard of it being put into these terms and put into these words because there's a lot of guys out like you consider Tom Brady, and I know he's the GOAT of all GOATs, so just let me finish the example. Look, Tom Brady is the most intangibly rich, NFL example that we probably have. A guy who came into the league as a 6th-round draft pick, but probably had the physical traits of a lot of quarterbacks you can name throughout history, and they didn't have that work ethic off the field. They didn't have that edge and that grind to do what's necessary off the field in between the time when the coaches aren't around, they're not looking over your shoulder. They weren't able to put it all together in that way, and they also didn't have the Hall of Fame coach in their ear, just to be clear and honest in the example. And you have multiple guys like that throughout the history of the league. And again, most of the greats have that edge to them. And I think a lot of that intangibly rich conversation is just saying that who are the guys who are going to give you that extra when you have tens of millions of dollars in their pocket? Who are the guys who are going to put in that work because it's at their core who they are, not because this is a job who I show up to on Monday, 9 to 5, and then I clock out, and it's not about this anymore until Monday. No. Who are the guys who live and breathe this? Because when things get tough, when this locker room is questionable, when there's the media in your ear and your family's talking about you and the baby screaming in the background and all these other things are happening, you're like, no. My way out of this is to go back to the film room and let's get better tomorrow. Like that's the guys that they seem to be looking for. And I think you can find many NFL GMs that look for those things. They're just putting it into words, and it seems to be putting it to action even when it's getting rough.
Sounds like Evan Ingram. First one out there and the last one to leave.
I mean, yeah. Unfortunately, when you start getting into scheme conversations, then Evan Ingram's blocking became a different conversation. So, but if you're talking intangibles, I think he absolutely is full of them.
No doubt. All right, leave us with this. What do you think they're going to do at number 5?
Oh, number 5. I mean, we keep hearing if the draft board is going to go the way that we're all expecting it to go, it's probably going to end up being something like, defensive tackle out of Michigan, Mason Graham, because they want to infuse some resources within the defensive line and the offensive line. Unless you truly believe that they're going to move off of someone like a Walker Little or an Anton Harrison, then they may not lean towards going to Will Johnson or Mimbo. Mm-hmm. So I'm leaning that it's probably going to end up being someone like Mason Graham. But if they chose to go the Mimbo route or the Will Campbell route and then push them over to guard, just to allow the ceiling of that offensive line to be raised, because the draft is for the raising of the ceiling, free agency is for raising the floor. I'm okay with that. Yeah. Again, I'm all whatever you need to do to make this running game great again. I'm here for it.
I'd love that with the offensive line. That's where I'm at. I mean, you got to take Trevor Lawrence to the next level, and the best way to do that is have the best offensive line that you can. Find another wide receiver. I know most of our listeners are saying defense, but I would love if they went that direction. So we'll see.
Man, but I'm a DB, so I'm a little bit biased. Yeah. I'm going to say you should be going defense with 4 of the first 5 picks. But if you told me we're going offensive line, we're going to reestablish the line of scrimmage, we're going to try to actually make this ground game good and grind these yards out, sort of like Tampa Bay did. They weren't really explosive. They were just good at picking up 4 yards a rush. I'd be okay with that. I'd be actually pretty happy with it. So do what you do.
Pretty crazy how things have changed in a year. Last year, with the first time ever, the top 10 picks were all offense. I mean, this year, outside of Cam Ward, you could have the next 4 picks be defense. It could work out that way, so we will see. Travis Holmes from Big Cat Country. Appreciate it, Travis. We'll do it again soon.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
There he goes. Yeah, I was just looking at this earlier today. And I know I've mentioned it a few times, but Caleb Williams, Jaden Daniels, Drake May, Marvin Harrison Jr., Joe Alt, Malik Neighbors, J.C. Latham, Michael Penix Jr., Odunze, and McCarthy went 9 and 10. As a matter of fact, the top 14 players were all offense last year. Think about that for 1 second. The top 14 players in the 2024 draft were all offense. And if you look at the mocks, it could be Abdul Carter at 2. It could be Travis Hunter at 3. Mason Graham could go at 4. Thinking he's not. He's going to be available for the Jaguars, but really pretty amazing the way things have switched in just one season. Okay, thank you to Travis Holmes. So that opens up you, and it gives you an opportunity to voice your opinion. We've talked about the NFL's owners' meetings. We've talked about trying to make this game better for you, the fan, right? And it feels like the decisions that they're making, it's very spotty. It is. It's very, I think it's in the best interest for some, but certainly not the majority. And I'm just frankly disappointed in most of them. The exception being the 18 games. Even though it's wrong for the reason I identified earlier, NFL fans are going to love it. And I'm part of that as well. Okay, you want to get rid of buys like you had 2 per year in the AFC and 2 per year in the NFC and add extra wild card games. Who's going to argue with that, right? You get more football, and that's what you want as the consumer. But still, there's a lot to chew on, and we'll do that coming up. 641-1010, best way to join us on the text line, brought to you by Lifetime Enclosures. You can also get us on YouTube. Just go to Into the Night at 1010XL, and you can get me on Twitter, Ballou1010XL.
First of all, congratulations on the show.
Join the 1010XL Podcast Network.
How do you like being in a real studio?
Now you can find all your favorite 1010XL podcasts in your platform of choice.
So, you finally have some time to yourself. Even if it is just the car ride home, it's you time. And look at you. Do not disturb set before you even got in the car? Impressive. You've earned this moment to just chill and drive. This break is brought to you by Target Zero and the Florida Department of Transportation.
Slacker plumbing.
Yeah, hey, listen, I need a plumber over here right now.
Yeah, well, we don't have any openings for about 2 weeks.
2 weeks?
Yep.
I was just changing the shower head and the water line broke and it's flying everywhere.
All right, 1 week.
What if I throw you an extra $100 to come now?
What's the address?
It's 205
Oh, I guess he changed his mind.
If you've got a leak that can't wait a week, call Roland Reese Plumbing and fix your plumbing problems fast. PlumbingJacksonville.com.
Poker players, the Run Good Poker Series is coming to Best Bet Jacksonville from April 24th to May 4th with 10 poker events, including the $1,200 main event, hosting a $300,000 guaranteed prize pool, and event number 1, a $400 no-limit hold'em tourney with a $200,000 guarantee. The action is non-stop. One in, win your seat through satellite starting April 4th at Best Bet Jacksonville. For all the Run Good Series structures and details, visit bestbetjacks.com. That's bestbetjacks.com.
Warm weather means the beach, fishing, golf, and more. Make sure to drop into Daly's and grab a cold case to go. From Bud Light to their seltzer, from Mick Ultra to Modelo, or your favorite crafts like Old City or Sweetwater. Grab and go at your local Daly's.
You'll always feel good when you send someone a Kuhn Flowers floral or plant arrangement. This is RJ with 1010XL, and no matter what the reason, Kuhn Flowers has always come through for me. Order online at KuhnFlowers.com.
What could you do with an extra $75,000 right now, or even a couple $100,000? If you own a home, you can get that money in less than a week with Loan Pronto. Hey, Prosser here. Loan Pronto is the leader in quickly converting your home equity into cold hard cash, so you can pay off all your credit cards or start that home remodel. Loan Pronto has several easy options to let you access the cash from your home. There's virtually no paperwork, no cumbersome process, no junk fees, often no appraisals. Listen, the average homeowner now has over $300,000 in equity. That's your money. Use it. One client got $150,000 out and paid off all their credit cards, 2 car loans, and a personal loan, cutting their monthly expenses by $1,500. You can get approved in as little as 1 day, so act now with no hard credit pull up front. LoanPronto.com or 904-999-1508. Get the money you need for anything at 904-999-1508 or just go to LoanPronto.com. Equal housing lender, NMLS 1661781, subject to lender approval, NMLSconsumeraccess.org.
I'm with Greg from Cycles of Jacksonville, and there's so many cool products that are on the line at Cycles of Jacksonville. Showroom is Atlantic and Regency, and we're talking, Greg, you've got from any level of price point, the experienced rider to the inexperienced on-road, off-road.
We've got it. We've got ATVs, we've got motorcycles, we've got scooters, we even have the new Honda boats. We've got something for everyone.
Don't forget about the boat line from Honda. It's all right there, waiting for you. Atlantic and Regency or Cycles of Jacksonville's Facebook page.
Do you know someone looking for a fun and rewarding summer job? Join the YMCA team, gain valuable experience, and make a difference in kids' lives. Turn your passion for this community into a fulfilling career at the First Coast YMCA. Now hiring camp counselors, lifeguards, childcare leaders, and membership experience team. Every single person on the dedicated YMCA staff plays a role in making the Y a welcoming and vital resource for our community. Find your career at the Y at fcymca.org.
Equal opportunity employer. 1010XL is presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Into the Night with Rick Ballou on 1010XL 92.5 FM.
Yeah, I've said all along with Liam Cohen on board and James Gladstone, I think the best thing that I have gotten from them is they both did it separately because it was quite a few weeks in between the hiring of Cohen and Gladstone. But it's their approach on the offensive line. And it was very different the way that it was described. It was Cohen first, and he brought up like 6 or 7 different points of view that I thought were incredible. And Jaguar fans, I got to believe you felt the exact same way. It wasn't coach speak. You know what I mean? It wasn't canned. It was, this really makes a difference. You need an offensive line, and you're not going to win in this league unless you have an offensive line. And then we got James Gladstone's opinion on it when he was hired as the general manager, and the way that, Gladstone talks is certainly different from the way that Cohen talks. But they were both really made, in my opinion, that's such a priority. And that is something that I absolutely love. If you've been listening to me regularly over the years, I do thank you, but you absolutely know that is where it all starts for me on the offensive line. And, you can have the greatest quarterback ever, you can have whatever, but if you do not have an offensive line, you are going to be average or you are going to be below average. And then today, and I actually saw this, John Shipley had it, and he put it out, and I thought it was, again, brilliant. I don't know if Liam Cohen is too excited that his old buddy John Spytek actually said this. Spytek was in Tampa last year. Of course, he is the new general manager of the Las Vegas Raiders, who's in a similar situation that Jacksonville is in. They've totally changed their top 3. You've still got Davis owning it, but Tom Brady has the minority ownership and was apparently very active in a lot of things, including just showing up on the same deserted island as Matthew Stafford. You got John Spytek as your GM, and you've got Pete Carroll is your coach, just like Baselli and Gladstone and Cohen here. But according to John Spytek, he had this to say. Quote, I was talking to Liam Cohen yesterday, and he was like, Spy, the one thing I underestimated before I got here was how good the offensive line was in Tampa. We had 2 first-round picks, 2 second-round picks on that line, and Ben Bredesen was a 4th-round pick, so you've got to invest, end of quote. Several ways to look at it. So one-on-one conversation between 2 buddies, 2 guys who work together in Tampa. Is this planted? Did Liam Cohen say something like this to a friend like John Spytek because he knew that John Spytek was going to be asked about this by a reporter and it would get thrown out there indirectly? Was this a mistake? This conversation was held in confidence. This was not supposed to get out there. And this type of stuff happens all the time in the NFL. You can think it's a harmless comment that you make to a former colleague or someone else, and all of a sudden that stuff finds its way to the general public. Or is it the truth? Is it what it's all about? An offensive line. Again, if Hunter's not there, and I know all you Mason Graham people, I know who you are, and I respect your opinion, but I would love it if it was Will Campbell, or I would love it if it was Membu, if they got the best offensive lineman that you can get. There still is a lot of uncertainty on that offensive line. They didn't give that money to Walker Little. Walker Little hasn't proven that he can stay healthy. Ezra Cleveland is just the guy. Anton Harrison regressed as a sophomore. I want to believe in Anton Harrison. Frankly, I think he should be playing left tackle. He played all his college football at left tackle. The former regime was so much smarter than everyone else that they kept picking player after player after player, and they made them play a position they were not familiar with. And that goes back to not only Trent Baalke, that goes to prior to Baalke with a lot of Dave Caldwell and the coaches who have come and gone as well. I mean, to this day, have they used Trayvon Walker the right way? Have they used Josh Hines-Allen the right way? Look what they did with linebackers last year. We were told Devin Lloyd was going to be a middle linebacker and Foye Oluokun was going to man the outside. Then a day later, we talked to Foye Oluokun. He kind of smiles when he's being told that he's not going to be a middle linebacker anymore. Of course, he got plenty of reps at middle linebacker. It just felt so unusual, right? I love it. I love the offensive line. I want you to love it too. It changes the whole world. It does. If you can pass protect and you can run the football, running the football is enormous. And this team has not been able to do that for years now. Short yardage, man football, tough guy football. Here we are talking about the tush push. All right, Jacksonville actually stopped the tush push defensively. But that's Philadelphia. Philadelphia is going to say the whole world knows they're going to run it with Jalen Hurts behind that offensive line, and they are. And in regular formation, they're going to hand the ball to Saquon Barkley. No wonder they're the Super Bowl champs. And there's still quite a few people out there that are not ready to anoint Hurts as a franchise quarterback, as a tremendous quarterback. He's been to 3 Super Bowls in 2 years. They'll find other reasons to, bring up how good Philadelphia is. Anyway, that came out today from John Spytek, the Raiders GM, and I appreciate John Shipley having that on SI because to me it's just a little bit more about the talk with this offensive line, which to me is the biggest priority that I think this organization needs to have, even though they've brought in 4 free agents. So they're aware of it, and there's going to be some competition, and that's going to be fun. because it's going to be so out of whack. It's not like you line up and hit. Who do you know who's really taking advantage of that opportunity if you're not hitting? How effectively can you grade in one-on-one situations, or if you practice with another team, or certainly in those preseason games? To me, it's going to be very, very difficult to try to figure out, because the way that this game continues to change where you're not hitting during practice. All right, let's get ready for our second hour. Let's do that. We're going to make it about you at 641-1010. JJ LaSalva is going to get involved and give us his opinion on the NFL's owners' meetings. Want yours as well. A lot of things are happening. What do you like? What do you not like? What concerns you most as an NFL fan? The way that this game continues to evolve. We'll do that in our second hour.
Super moments.
This is the play of the game right here.
Super games.
Everyone wants to be a part of NFL history.
Superstars.
He is a difference maker now.
On the Superstation.
You will be wowed.
1010X. 1010XL.
Frank Frangie here. Nimnick Buick GMC is proud to be the #1 Buick GMC dealer in Jacksonville. Earned by treating customers with courtesy, respect, and fairness. All part of Nimnick's Treating You Right guarantee. The most Buicks, GMCs, and Jacksonville's only Car Bravo dealer. Nobody but Nimnick. For 3 generations, Nimnick has been the place customers keep coming back to. They treat you right, and they give a bunch back to the community. Visit NimnickBuickGMC.com today to learn more, or visit their showroom off Phillips Highway. GMC, we are professional grade.
David Garrard here. I've had the PRP treatment from Southeast Orthopedic Specialists, and my knees are really doing well. Platelet-rich plasma treatment may be the answer for whatever is hurting you.
Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
My son had a meniscus surgery a couple years ago. When it's smooth as silk, Dr. Kevin Murphy did it. Was playing tennis in 2 weeks. This is Patrick Malarkey, and I highly recommend
Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
DivorceMenOnly.com. This is Kenny Lay of Kenny Lay & Associates. Our firm specializes in representing men in family law. That's all we do. That's our only focus. We can help with all of your family law needs, such as divorce, custody, alimony, and child support. For over a decade, we have helped thousands of men with these types of issues. We even have an appellate division ready to challenge a judge's ruling. If you need a family law attorney, go to DivorceMenOnly.com. DivorceMenOnly.com. Offices, Jacksonville.
Home of the Jaguars. WJXL AM Jacksonville Beach. WJXL FM Jacksonville Beach.
Beat the spring cleaning rush with big savings and priority booking by calling our heroes at Zero Res. This month, get Zero Resified from Jacksonville's #1 carpet cleaner. You'll get 25% off all cleaning services. That's right, 25% off. Check out 8,000 raving customer reviews if you don't believe me online. Call them, 904-287-5727. Or visit their website, ZeroResJacksonville.com. Zero Res, spell it forwards or backwards. It's the right way to clean.
Zero Res. All right, it's Ballou. Let's get real for a minute. Losing weight isn't exactly easy, especially when your life involves being surrounded by good food at every event imaginable. Believe me, I get it. But thanks to Awaken 180, I'm already down 10 pounds, feeling sharper, more energized, and never hungry. This isn't some juice diet or starving yourself nonsense. I'm eating food that tastes great, even when I'm out on the road. Here's the beauty. Awaken 180 gives you the game plan to handle real-life situations. I've been hitting plenty of events lately, temptation everywhere, and I've managed to stay on track effortlessly. That's huge. 10 pounds down, energy way up, hunger totally controlled. So if you're tired of carrying around extra weight, tired of diets that don't work, it's time to check out Awaken 180. Take it from me, Hacker, Dempsey, Hayes, basically everyone. It's easy. It works and it's real. Do what we did and choose the solution for weight loss. Online at awaken180weightloss.com.
Plumbing problem? AC acting up? Septic tank trouble? Don't waste time calling 3 different companies. Just call Duck Rooter. We offer plumbing, septic, and air conditioning services, making it easy for you to work with one trusted company and one simple build. Every department has highly skilled experts trained for the job. For fast, reliable service from a company that does it all the right way, call 904-862-6769 or visit duckduckrooter.com.
Yo, E.T. here, and Twin Peaks is the best in the game. Here, your favorite drafts are poured at a frosty 29 degrees. and rare barrel-aged whiskeys are served just the way you want them. It's bigger game days and bolder fight nights. I mean, where else can you find a scratch kitchen that always comes through in the clutch every day, from lunch to late night? Only at Twin Peaks, the #1 sports bar, Twin Peaks. Scratch Kitchen scores every time. Dig into hand-smashed burgers, chef-inspired flatbreads, and more at your local lodge. Come on, somebody.
Prosser here for Lifetime Enclosures and Lifetime Flooring. With the weather starting to turn for the better, look ahead. Get that backyard ready for spring with a new screened-in enclosure. Maximize the space you have and make it great with Lifetime Enclosures and Lifetime Flooring. They truly are best in the business. If you have the space and the idea, give them a call today. Lifetime Enclosures and Lifetime Flooring. Showroom just off Phillips Highway. Tell them Prosser sent you, proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
It's game time for your business, and Advanced Business Solutions has the winning play. With Xerox copiers, you'll never miss a deadline. Fast, reliable, and built for high performance, Xerox copiers keep your team ahead of the competition. From printing to scanning, Xerox brings the MVPs of efficiency to your office. Ready to make the winning move? Hire the champions at Advanced Business Solutions. Veteran owned.
Printers, copiers, and IT management. Advanced Business Solutions.
Why is the Dead Sea so named? The answer next.
Southern Oak Insurance is proud to continue offering coverage statewide. Financial stability makes Southern Oak Insurance a wise choice for your homeowner's insurance needs. Log on to southernoak.com.
Our family protecting yours. Southern Oak Insurance.
The Dead Sea is 9 times saltier than any other sea, which means no living creature can actually live there.
Southern Oak Insurance. Our family protecting yours.
1010XL is presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Let's go into the night with Rick Ballou on 1010XL 92.5 FM.
All right, 1 week from tomorrow is going to be our just blow off work. Join us for a round of golf out at Cimarron. And only have a few foursomes left. I haven't even promoted it yet. But word had snuck out. And people are all over it. So it's going to be next Wednesday, April 9th. Cimarron, $54 plus a draft beer. And if you're interested, get us on the text line right now, 641-1010, brought to you by Lifetime Enclosures. I'll contact you. Please only get to us if you can get together a foursome. I guess you can put together a twosome, and we can put you out there with 2 more. But it's going to be a fun time. We're going to do our show out there after. It's the eve of the Masters, so we're going to have some par 3 specials. No big event outside of skip work, go out and have a great round. Been bragging about Cimarron for quite some time. They've totally redone the golf course. It is absolutely magnificent. And some former Jags going to be out there. I believe Aaron Beasley and Marcus Stroud are both going to play with me. I'll know for sure in a day. Perhaps some others as well. But it'd be a good time. And that's what we're all about, is a good time. And that new patio is really something out there at Cimarron. So if you're interested in playing, again, it's only $54. It's a week from Wednesday. Get to me right now, 641-1010 on the text line, brought to you by Lifetime Enclosures. Have the Braves or Red Sox been eliminated from the Major League Baseball playoffs yet?
Yeah, I actually am going to a game in Fenway next month to see the Braves play, and I'll be shocked if they have a win by then. Honestly, yeah, they're terrible. The Red Sox at least are in some close games, but yeah, they can't hit either. The Braves are absolutely terrible, and on top of them being 0-5 and like scoring 1 run in the last 3 games, they signed one guy in the offseason, Profar, and less than a week into the season, he is suspended for 80 games for performance-enhancing drugs after using a fertility drug.
Ouch.
And even if the Braves somehow turn things around, which is obviously still a possibility, very early days, but he will not be able to play in the postseason, which I really had forgotten that rule even existed. I think it's a fair rule, but yeah, and I think Ronaldo Lopez went on the IR today. It's just a disaster start for the Braves, who haven't even gotten to play a home game yet.
I read about this earlier this morning. 1 year, Tony Gwynn had 15 strikeouts in 583 at-bats.
Crazy.
Rafael Devers has 15 strikeouts in 19 at-bats.
Yeah, I don't think he has a hit unless
he does not.
Got one today.
But you talk about a guy that is just sulking that they brought in Alex Bregman and they took away his third base. I mean, that's hard to do even at that level. And this guy's a consistent ball player. He's their best player. 15 strikeouts and 19 at-bats. So that's what's going on right now with Rafael Devers.
He became the first player to strike out 10 times in a team's first 3 games of a season. He became the first player to strike out 12 times in the team's first 4 games. And yes, with 15 strikeouts through 5 games, he shattered the old record of 13. So he's just on a tear right now.
Right. And he's already getting eaten up. Yeah, the meeting's all over him.
Are they playing him at third still? Or, like, what's the situation in the field?
Bregman's playing third.
Okay.
He's DHing.
Damn.
So, I mean, he's a young guy. He's 28, and he's already being told he's going to DH. That's going to be tough on him.
Well, he's a butcher over at third.
He always has been really poor, in my opinion, defensively. No doubt about that. 33-26 says, Ballou, I never understand why they got rid of Evan Ingram. I was really surprised by that as well. I think the writing is on the wall, however, that the way the Liam Cohen offense is going to be, you are going to have to be able to block. And that is not something that Evan Ingram does. Brenton Strange can do both. Brenton Strange improved dramatically during his second season. You went out and added a couple of free agents that are very cost-effective, that can block and probably won't be involved all that much in the pass game. What's hard to accept is that they said goodbye to Evan Ingram. They just gave up. They're eating $13.5 million here just by saying, we don't want you around anymore. And I knew that was going to, I didn't know, but I figured it was going to happen with Christian Kirk because his cap figure was $24 million, and he's been injured the last couple of seasons, and he's a slot wide receiver. And it also feels like with Liam Cohen, who you know they're going to add at least one more wide receiver, right? Could be Travis Hunter in the first round. Could be pick number 36. Could be one of their 2 third-round picks. Could be one of their 2 fourth-round picks. They're going to add another wide receiver here. What is amazing is thinking about how much movement there is going to be with these wide receivers, and that Brian Thomas Jr. is not strictly going to be on the outside. They're going to use him perhaps in the slot. They just added Brown. They're going to use him in the slot. They're going to use him outside. Parker Washington last year had experience learning all 3 of the wide receiver positions, and he got an opportunity to play several of them because of injuries to Gabe Davis and to Christian Kirk. But this is amazing. This organization ate 13.8 on Brandon Sheriff, 13.6 on Christian Kirk, and 13.5 on Evan Ingram to no longer play for this team. That's $40 million that they just ate to say goodbye to Sheriff, Kirk, and Ingram. And I agree with Sheriff and Kirk. I agree with that. I did not agree with Ingram. I hope it doesn't come back to haunt him a little bit, but that has to be the belief, is that this football team, they want to have a complete tight end. And, I just talked about it before the top of the hour break, the comments by John Spytek today, Raiders general manager, this whole emphasis on the offensive line. I really want to buy it. I know sometimes words are just that, but is there truth to the words? And I want to believe that there really is when it comes to this offensive line, because they consistently talk about it. And hopefully that is the case. 53-51 Blue. Mason Graham has bust written all over him. Mason Graham, for everyone I talk to, he safe is the word that I would use. right? The tape shows some really good things with Mason Graham and that he's going to make this organization a better football team. I'm a little concerned that he's undersized, right? And I know Tom McManus has been a big proponent of that, about getting, an immovable defensive force. I think around here, you've seen enough. Devon Hamilton's one of the really good guys on the football team. Have you seen enough? He's a camp warrior. He is. If you were to rewind tapes from me talking at the Miller Electric Center, 2 years ago before the back injury and last year, it is so positive on Devon Hamilton about what he does in camp. And then it just doesn't work in games. Eric Armstead, I got to believe there's a little professionalism involved here. Isn't there a little bit of pride involved here? I'm sure the story on Armstead will come out at some point, although he seems to be a really good guy outside of liking the whatever it was, the Twitter post by Aziz, his former teammate. I thought that was awful, and I know that Eric Armstead explained himself. But outside of that, he comes across as a really good dude. I mean, he just won the Walter Payton Award. But isn't there a little professional pride as to just how awful he was here in his first season? Is he going to bounce back? Is he going to do something? Or is he going to go down historically as another Carnell Lake or another Bryce Paup or another Hugh Douglas, or another Torrey Holt, another aging veteran who they overpaid for and got virtually nothing from him? My guess is that Armstead improves. That'd be just a guess. The exact opposite could happen. Who knows about Tyler Lacey? What's he going to give you? Who knows about Jordan Jefferson? What's he going to give you? And we still don't even know what they're going to play as far as their defensive scheme. I have a pretty good idea what they're going to do offensively. An idea. I don't know. Defensively, I'm sitting here with my arms both up, like, who knows? The experience of Campanile and, learning under Brian Flores, learning under Vic Fangio, who play 3-4 style defense is totally different. Flores learned under Belichick in New England. It's historic with what Fangio just did in the Super Bowl. 42 dropbacks for Patrick Mahomes, and Vic Fangio in Philadelphia did not blitz once. And I get it, because people right now are going to say, that's why, Ballou. That's why you got to go get Mason Graham. That's why you got to go get yourself a fierce interior defensive lineman. Just look at Philadelphia. And you know what? You got me. You do. But there's only one thing you can do at number 5. And I've already given you my opinion. I want offense here. I want tackle or I want a wide receiver. I also believe that the defensive tackle class is one of the real major strengths of this year's group coming out of college. That you can find yourself a really good football player at 36, or you could find yourself a really good football player in the 3rd round. I haven't had an opportunity to talk with you, JJ, about the NFL draft. What would you like to see them do at number 5?
Well, it depends if Hunter's there. If I'm assuming another quarterback's going to be taken in the top 5. Like every single year, we always see this. The closer we get, the more some team falls in love and has to have a quarterback. I think Sanders is going to be that. I think they take him way higher than a lot of draft boards are showing. And if that's the case and Hunter's there, I would obviously go with him. But, yeah, I'm worried about Graham. I would not take offense that high just because the wide receiver, I I saw what he said about watching tape, and yeah, I don't want a guy like that whatsoever. I don't want somebody who basically people were saying he took off the last season because he knew he had the tape already enough to be a top draft pick. And then the O lineman, I mean, he's got short arms, right? The guy from Texas. So if you could trade out maybe, because I don't love Graham, but if Hunter's there, I'd take Hunter. If not, probably look for a trade.
Love to see what this city would do if they announced Travis Hunter at number 5. I would just love it. I would. And every time I mention it, which is quite a bit this time of year, okay? I mean, the draft keeps sneaking up on us. It would be just so incredibly, I'm a loss for words on it for like the first time in my life. This is unlike anything that we've ever seen before. The Jalen Ramsey thing evolved. You weren't hearing that this time. You weren't hearing that we were aware that he got thrown out of his freshman year. Jimbo Fisher threw him out of practice. And, even though you had Ronald Darby there and you had LaMarcus Joyner there and you had P.J. Williams there and you had really good football players there, guys who went in the first and second round, that Ramsey had that attitude. But when he got here, it wasn't different from any other first rounder. He actually, dare I say, was a little bit humble, right? And then that changed once the season began. He became obviously very outspoken and hated to lose to the point where the man actually cried on the bench. I remember I was the Jaguars sideline reporter then. But he didn't come with the diva feel. That evolved, right? I think that's a worry for a lot of people. Is that Travis Hunter is going to come here as a Heisman Trophy winner, and he's going to have all the attention. He's going to have this attitude. Well, maybe Jacksonville needs a guy like that, especially if he really is a can't-miss prospect.
Maybe take some of like the pressure off Trevor. Like that's all anyone talks about is Trevor. There isn't another guy really.
It's for those who have played on this football team. I'm not talking about the 10 new additions, and I'm not talking about the 10 new players they'll add in the draft. But for those who have played on this team, terrible leadership. Just awful. There's no leadership. And Christian Kirk was a silent leader. Evan Ingram, I think, was a leader by example. But they were too bad. Brandon Sheriff was the most canned, cliched offensive line that I can think of in years. Okay? And this is where I'm conflicted. Because I keep bragging about Gladstone and Cohen and their approach on the offensive line and how I believe it, okay? I've also heard their thoughts on leadership with this team. And I totally do not believe it, okay? I don't. That's something I always look for, is leadership. And that is such a tough question. I mean, honestly, outside of Trevor Lawrence, and we've seen that change for 4 years, and no one's ever going to confuse Trevor Lawrence as a Tom Brady or a Phil Rivers or a Peyton Manning, have that type of persona, have that type of effect on his teammates. Honestly, who's the biggest leader on this team? You going to tell me Foye Oluokun? Maybe. You going to tell me Josh Hines-Allen? I guess. There's no leaders on this team. And you have to be a great player to be a leader in the NFL. You can be vocal and you can be a Marvin Jones Jr. and do all these things, but if your play is limited, it goes away. Who's the guy now running from the law? Sergio Brown? Is that it out in Mexico? Sergio Brown would do the Ric Flairs and the woos, and okay, it's good in the moment. And he was very vocal and he was very supportive, but I mean, and that's great in high school and that's great in college. But when you get to the pro level, the only leaders are those who are really good players. What is the latest on Sergio Brown? Do we know? Is there any way you can find that out?
He was later extradited to the U.S., so he has been extradited from Mexico. They found him in October 2023. He was arrested for first-degree murder, charged in concealing a homicide. Remember, he killed his own mother.
Oh, man. Sergio Brown. I don't know if I'm supposed to say this or not. I will. Statute of limitations have passed. Actually, I did something on the team playing. It was all fun. I'm not going to say it. I'm going to respect the former gig. I'm sorry to do that to you, people. You buy me a couple of Pabst Blue Ribbons and chase it with, I don't know, maybe some Johnny Walker, then I'll tell you. You can do so at Cimarron. I'll tell you, in person, next Wednesday at our remote. I know Griffin's going to hate that. He's like, don't ever do that on the radio. And it is. It's a bad thing. But I was going to say something that was inappropriate, and I caught myself. So I don't do that much, but I just did it right then. And again, I do apologize. But my point being, always really liked Sergio Brown. I mean, what a barrel of fun he was until the guy went out and killed his mother, for crying out loud. But Sergio Brown was like the guy you wanted to be around the locker room. He was a fun guy. But he was not a good football player. That's my point. And I know I go back to this, but it's true. This team doesn't have any leaders. Or if they do, you can count them on one hand and maybe on three fingers. I bet if you were to survey in town, the three leaders that you would mention would be Trevor Lawrence, Foye Oluokun, and Josh Hines-Allen. Who is after that? You going to try to tell me Trayvon Walker's a leader? Are you going to try to tell me Walker Little's a leader? Are you going to try to tell me Anton Harrison's a leader? Are you going to try to tell me that Brenton Strange is a leader? Jerrion Jones has an opportunity to be a leader. He just lost his job. He's got to fight for the open corner position. If they go get Travis Hunter and make him a corner, guess what? Jerrion Jones is fighting to be a starting dime, not even a nickel. So leadership is important. And you look at the guys they brought in last year, what a massive miss. Darnell Savage, Gabe Davis, Devin Duvernay, Ronald Darby. You know, Eric Armstead, myself included, was supposed to be the next Calais Campbell. Hell no. Hell no. So, just want to be fair about it. I brag about their approach on the offensive line. I've also heard them talk about great leaders on this team. And that's when I say, yeah, well, no. No. You know, that's part of the job, right? That's part of saying the right thing. But in my opinion, it's not believable. What is believable is you, in your opinion. Let's get to it on the other side.
Now, another classic moment in Jags history.
He's got room to run. 10, 5, Brunel leaps. Touchdown, Jacksonville.
This is the home of your team, 1010XL, home of the Jaguars.
Hey, folks, Rick Ballou here for John's Auto. They've been a staple in Jacksonville going all the way back to 1985. At John's Auto, they service all makes, all models, cars, trucks, diesel, you name it, they do it. Whether it's routine maintenance or a complete engine overhaul. Call John's Auto on Arlington Road. That's 904-743-3857 or go to johnsautomotivejacks.com.
This is Corona Premier. Just 90 calories and 2.6 grams of carbs. It's a light beer that... Wait, this is a light beer? But we should really tell people about... Right, that's why I'm here. Sorry. Corona Premier, unexpectedly, light beer.
Corona Premier, a light beer with just 90 calories and 2.6 grams of carbs. The premier side of life. For those that are active and on the go, pick some up the next time you're heading out to enjoy the day under the sun. Corona Premier, an unexpectedly light beer.
Rick Ballou for Carlson Dental. You know, I've been telling you this for quite some time because it's true. I hate going to the dentist, or at least I used to hate going to the dentist. I had total anxiety, and then I tried sedation, light sedation for cleaning and deep sedation as well for cavities and root canals. Folks, it's an incredible experience. So don't be nervous. Don't be scared. Go to carlsondentalgroup.com. That's carlsondentalgroup.com for all of your dental needs.
Bueller, stay cooler with Bueller.
Hey man, what's that noise?
Do you hear it too? You can hear it, right?
Yeah, it's your air conditioner. It's like a grinding or a rattling.
And it's getting on your nerves, right? Like it's eating at your brain and you can't think straight, but it just keeps grinding and squeaking and taunting and nagging. You're not good enough. You're a failure. Why can't you be more like your sister, the lawyer?
Yeah, I don't hear that last part so much.
Yeah, but it's not cool, right, Jason?
It could definitely be cooler. At Bueller Air and Plumbing, we can totally repair whatever that noise is and get your AC working smoothly and silently. We fix these things all the time.
So I won't be a failure?
Life should be enjoyed. If some irritating, broken air conditioner is making you crazy, you could miss it.
Stay cooler with Bueller.
Visit BuellerAir.com.
This is your Mad Dad's Update with Chapter President Donald Ford. In our effort to curb crime, drugs, and violence during the summer months, we are offering Friday Night Lights. It has already started and will be going until school starts back. It is every Friday night from 6:30 to 9:30 at the Blacktop, 5732 Normandy Boulevard, and behind the Potter's House Christian Academy. We manage 3 basketball courts. You are not running on the cement. We have covering on each court. The Lakers, the Magic, and the Heat. Ages 15 to 40 years old. This will give them something to do other than selling drugs and getting into trouble. We have monitors there giving leadership. We have to wake up, stand up, and speak up. Hit me on Facebook and tell me what you think. Or MattDadJacksonville.com.
Cannonball! Honey, someone's in our pool.
Oh, refreshing.
John, what are you doing?
Oh, hey, Dave. Seeing as how me and the guys at Clearwater Irrigation reinstalled your sprinklers after the pool contractor ripped it out, I thought you wouldn't mind if I took a quick dip.
But in a Jaguar print Speedo?
Yeah, Dave. My bad.
Clearwater Irrigation. We can't sing a lick, but we sure are good at sprinklers.
And drainage, too.
You're shrimping a bag!
Jumbo Shrimp Baseball opens today at the newly renovated VyStar Ballpark. Come early for opening day street carnival and don't miss post-game fireworks. Don't miss Thirsty Thursday and fireworks Friday and Saturday. Baseball all week and weekend. Tickets start at just $5. JackShrimp.com for tickets. Jumbo Shrimp Baseball. Affordable family fun. Have you got concrete or asphalt rubble piling up? Arcosa Crushed Concrete will pay you for it and recycle it. They're just minutes from Everbank Stadium on Talleyrand. Call Arcosa Crushed Concrete and get paid for what you don't need. ArcosaCrushedConcrete.com.
1010XL is presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Into the Night with Rick Ballou on 1010XL 92.5 FM.
Come on, Neil. Get back to Florida for crying out loud. Neil Young has not been here in forever. I think he stays around NoCal, right? Hanging out in the woods. He's the one I want to come into town. No doubt about that. NFL owners meetings today. They accomplished a lot. 3 days, 3 games on Christmas. All right, which is phenomenal, right? I mean, open up the presents, get with the family, watch football. The tush push tabled. They're going to look at this again in May. And reportedly 16 teams support it. You need 24 out of 32. So that could happen by May. Playoff seating by record has been tabled. Jaguar fans, you don't want that to happen. You want to be able to go 9-8 and win the AFC South and have a home game, not be forced to go on the road and face a wild card team with a better record. Sportsmanship is something that apparently they're really going to go after. The nose wipe, which I guess is gang-related.
I always thought it was like a cocaine reference.
I read about it today on Pro Football Talk. They said it was a certain gang. C.D. Lamb did it first. A throat slash, which, yeah. How about firing of a gun?
Well, didn't they do that last year? They started giving out 15-yard penalties for practicing your Second Amendment right on the field. Fake doing it. Fake practicing your Second Amendment right. God forbid.
You say this.
How dare you?
College or pro, I have no problem with excessive celebration. I don't. I'd tell you what I have a problem with excessive celebration. When you're down 8-1, you hit a solo home run, and
That's when you should
you stop and stare.
Or you do your little dance with the third base coach as you round the bag. Like, yeah, if it's an NFL player celebrating when they're down multiple scores, then you should be able to throw a flag.
We were talking about this the other day. I don't know how it came up. We were talking about Florida State, Notre Dame, and some football game. I don't know how that came up. I might have played with a Florida State grad or something when we were out playing golf, and talking about all the rivalry and the game of the century. And when I lived in Chicago, it was like Chris Rick's best game. Florida State won 37-0 there, and there was one time in Tallahassee where Kyle Willingham came in and won. Was it Willingham or Winningham? It was Willingham, I believe. Came in and beat Florida State.
Tyrone
Willingham came in and beat Florida State in Tallahassee. And I think that was the deal with Willingham. And I want to say it was Robert Morgan who caught a ball and got up and spun it as they were down by 2 possessions, late in the fourth quarter. And I was with a buddy who was so violent. He was ready to climb over the wall and go after him. He's like, how dare he disgrace the school in the game to do something like that when you know you're going to lose. And so anyway, but I know they don't want gang-related stuff and brandishing firearms and stuff like that. Apparently they're going to go after it. We'll see. Kickoffs going from the 30 to 35-yard line. They're projecting 70 to 75% of returns, right? It's going to be a new strategy about kickoffs. And I think that's going to be pretty interesting when we get an opportunity to talk with Heath Farwell, one of only a couple of coaches who do remain. And, you got the best punter in the league. You got one of the best young kickers in the league. They gave up on Devin Duvernay, so I don't know what they're going to do as far as kick return. You got to believe Jacksonville is going to get a running back in the 4th round or something like that, like with Bucky Irvin a year ago, and make him the 3rd running back, and possibly a guy that can really help out on return.
This is a great running back class.
Mm-hmm.
Very deep.
Yeah. Overtime rules are going to be the same now in the regular season as they are in the playoffs. Both teams are going to get an opportunity to score, even if the team who wins the coin toss scores a touchdown the first time they get the ball. And finally, the Sony Hawk technology is going to take place on first downs. So no more Chang Gang. That'll still be there. You'll see them on the sideline as a backup, but they're going to go to the eye in the sky for everything now as far as measurements on first downs. 7 international games this year. They're talking about 10 next year. And as we started the program, also an 18-game schedule is already being discussed for maybe as early as 2026. All right, you have to collectively bargain that. Right now, the current CBA goes through the year 2030. Let's get back to the offensive line here again. Again, I continue to be just really infatuated by this because my whole mindset on your Jaguars is can you take Trevor Lawrence to that next level? Can you make him an elite quarterback? And my opinion is you need it all. You need another wide receiver, and you need the best offensive line that you can possibly put together. Liam Cohen yesterday was asked about his thoughts with this group, including going out, adding 4 new free agents.
I think that's, yes, physical is a mass and size issue, but it's also a mentality. It's also the way it's coached, the way it's taught, the way it's preached. So I'm kind of going to hold on evaluating that part. Do I think we got competition in depth? Absolutely. I think we got some good, sound, solid players that are going to help elevate that floor. But let's go wait and see what it truly looks like when we actually go and compete and do things the way that we're going to do them.
Sean Sarrett takes over. He was a name I didn't know much about at all. Came from Minnesota. Phil Rauscher came from Minnesota. Phil Rauscher was very heavily decorated when he got here. And I do not think he did a good job. I love what Cohen said there when he talked about the ability to coach. And remember something else that Liam Cohen said when he really went on about the offensive line during his initial press conference. Last year in Tampa, they schemed it a certain way to block a certain way. And once they finally hit, they were forced to totally change that. This, to me, is the most fascinating part of it. This, to me, also adds Tony Baselli. If they do not use him for this part of the game. Again, listen, I've known Tony Baselli. I did the Tony Baselli show back in 96, 97. I've known Tony since we both got here, when the franchise began. But it's not like I'm expecting Tony Baselli to make the 5th pick in the draft or the 36th pick in the draft or both third-round picks or both fourth. No, that's not his role. But if you're not going to pick his brain about everything that is involved with this offensive line, and I'm talking about scheme, blocking scheme, toughness, mental toughness, and things that involve the offensive line that, frankly, I have no clue about. None at all. I think it's the hardest position group to try to analyze. We can all look at a guy who runs routes, catches a ball. We can all look at a drop back with a quarterback and accuracy, whether it's a deep ball or velocity or finesse on a short ball. And that's been a big problem for Trevor. He's going to get better with his short stuff. You don't have to throw a Nolan Ryan 100-mile-an-hour fastball to Tank Bigsby, who's not going to catch it. You got to learn to finesse it a little bit. But anyway, we can see all that. We can see you can run. We can see you can drop back. Like, for instance, and I know that the Jaguars don't have a linebacker that can cover. They don't have one, right? But the offensive line, nope. I can watch him drop back and pass protect. I can watch him try to road grade and run block. But there's so much involved in that part of the game that I don't know, especially when defenses are really complex. If they're a hybrid that's 3-4, 4-3, or they're stunting and they're doing twists and they're doing all sorts of different stuff, which kind of wish, a couple of years. And we talked about this with Mike Caldwell a few years ago. Learning those great Tampa Bay defenses, including in that Super Bowl year where it felt like every single play Tampa was lining up defensively and it never felt like they were doing the same thing. I always have been, even with the Final Four coming up, I've always been a proponent of the offense should force the defense to change. Tampa Bay, when they won the Super Bowl, their defense forced offenses to change. Tom Coughlin, when the New York Giants won those 2 Super Bowls, he only rushed 4, and he dropped 7. he affected New England and Tom Brady to the point where he became the commander, not Bill Belichick. He out-schemed New England because he sent only 4. And that's very rare. Vic Fangio just did the same thing. The difference between Vic Fangio and Tom Coughlin is that Vic Fangio had like a 7-man rotation. Where for the most part, New York went with the starting 4. But anyway, give me the offensive line. So we'll see. Sean Sarrett, 14 years in the league. Most recently, assistant offensive line coach for the Minnesota Vikings. He's got a big responsibility here with this offensive line. All right, let's take our final break of the night. Hacker's been double dipping, and he's coming up in just a little bit. He'll take you from 8 until 10 o'clock.
Okay, stop. This is a family movie.
Sports talk and entertainment for Jacksonville. This is 1010XL.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Welcome to AutoZone. What are you working on today?
I need new rotors.
When you buy 2 Duralast rotors during our spring sale, you get Duralast brake pads free.
Free?
With the rotors.
Well, that's great. What if I need extra stopping power?
You can upgrade to Duralast Gold pads for just $10.
So Duralast pads are free.
Yep,
And an upgrade is just $10?
that's right. Part of the spring sale at AutoZone.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Restrictions apply.
Cool Cats Heating and Cooling. The coolest cats in town. Setting the standard in our hometown. Quality service, the best around. Coolidge is the cat that cares about your heating and about your air. Cool Cats Heating and Cooling. The coolest cats in town.
I'm Rick Julius, a partner at Cordell & Cordell. Divorce is more than just a legal process. It's a life-changing event that can impact your future, finances, and your relationship with your children. You've worked hard to build a life that you're proud of, and you deserve a legal partner who will work just as hard to protect it.
Offices in Jacksonville. Schedule an appointment with one of Cordell & Cordell's attorneys. Lisa Cargis, Florida resident partner. Rick Julius, licensed in Pennsylvania only. Online at CordellCordell.com.
Homeowners, listen up. It's time to start fresh in 2025. Prosser here, and Loan Pronto is here to help take control of your finances in 2025 by lowering your house payments and consolidating that nagging debt. Did you know that 9 out of 10 borrowers get a better deal by calling Loan Pronto? Right now, Loan Pronto has some of the most competitive offers for refis, debt consolidation, and purchase loans, starting in the low 5s APR. If your current rate is over 6%, don't settle for paying too much. Even if you're in process with another lender, call Loan Pronto now. Lock in at a lower rate today and close in as little as 2 weeks, often with no appraisal. You can even skip your next 2 house payments. It's fast, easy, and hassle-free. Get your personalized Loan Pronto rate quote instantly with no hard credit pull and no upfront fees. Call now, 904-999-1508, or go to loanpronto.com. That's 904-999-1508. Equal housing lender, NMLS 1661781, subject to lender approval, NMLS consumeraccess.org.
Get to know positions and players. The 1010XL Ultimate Draft Guide is brought to you by Blue Haven Pools, the #1 pool builder in Jacksonville. Follow rankings and roundtables as the draft takes shape. Go to 1010XL.com/2025 draft guide to get yours.
Need fresh and flavorful lunch? Chicken Salad Chick has scratch-made Southern-style chicken salad in every bite. It's quick and delicious, so why wait? Come taste the best chicken salad today at Town Center, Durbin Park, or Butler Point at Chicken Salad Chick.
Hey everybody, it's Mike Dempsey, and I only like to recommend the best, which is why I'm proud to say that I chose Pella Windows and Doors for my own home. And now's a great time to upgrade your home with 0% financing for 60 months. That's 5 years of interest-free payments on the best windows and doors in the business. Don't wait. Schedule a free consultation at PellaJacks.com or visit their showroom on Phillips Highway just north of Bay Meadows. For quality you can trust and savings you can't miss, that's Pella Windows and Doors.
It's game time for your business, and Advanced Business Solutions has the winning play. With Xerox copiers, you'll never miss a deadline. Fast, reliable, and built for high performance, Xerox copiers keep your team ahead of the competition. From printing to scanning, Xerox brings the MVPs of efficiency to your office. Ready to make the winning move? Hire the champions at Advanced Business Solutions. Better known.
Printers, copiers, and IT management. Advanced Business Solutions.
Denny Thompson here. You got to check out Tyson's Showroom Home Theater with surround sound and comfy theater chairs. You can transform your living room into a cinematic experience. I can stay there to watch all my games. It's that comfortable. Call Tyson today and bring the theater experience home. Tyson Sound and Security, your security, home theater, and home automation experts. New showroom at 3555 U.S. Highway 17 in Fleming, Iowa.
Hey, Hicken here, or just call me Dreamfinders Danny. For a limited time to ring in the new year, Dreamfinders Homes is offering an amazing 4.99% fixed interest rate. Now's your chance to lock down that rate and get in the game. You heard me right. It's 4.99 fixed interest rate on select move-in ready homes. Visit dreamfindershomes.com for sales event information and get in the game. Interest rate available on select move-in ready homes. Restrictions and limitations apply. Go to dreamfindershomes.com for more details.
Got a cracked windshield? Not only is it dangerous, but did you know it's also illegal? Call Baker Glass. Matt and his crew use the best auto glass in the market, and they accept most insurance. Plus, all new windshields come with a full warranty. From cars to trucks to RVs, you can count on Baker Glass to be fast and friendly. Just check out their Google reviews. Come see us at the shop on Casta Avenue, or we can come to you at your home or business.
I'm back with Baker Glass. No one treats you better.
Beat the spring cleaning rush and call our cleaning heroes at Zero Res. This month, get Zero Resified and take 25% off all services. Visit ZeroResJacksonville.com and tell them Hicken or 1010XL sent you.
Zero Res. 1010XL is presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville.
Now the cool down with Donovan Air, Electric and Plumbing, keeping Jacks cool since '87.
And we've hit on it for the majority of the program, but an awful lot happening today at the NFL's owners' meetings. So they'll do it again coming up in May. I believe a little bit more to be worked on tomorrow. Jarrett Bell is going to join us on Thursday. Does an outstanding job covering the NFL. I've known Jarrett for quite some time. He's with the USA Today. And I was hoping to get him tonight, but he was just too busy with everything that he is working on. So we'll do that Thursday. And, you know, we'll see if anything else does come out NFL related. But they are smart. There's no doubt. They find a way to keep you involved all the time with everything that's going on. And that includes this month. More pro days coming up, NFL draft coming up. Then they drop the schedule on you. Trying to remember if that's maybe the first week of May. And then you have rookie mini camps. And then you have all these off-season workouts that do take place. You know, the Jaguars have a big date in 1 month. They need to decide whether or not to pick up the fifth-year team-only option on both Trayvon Walker and Devin Lloyd. Okay, to me, it's a no-brainer with Trayvon Walker. I'd make him play year 5 at $14,751,000. Sure, he's not going to be thrilled about that. Liam Cohen yesterday did say that they've already had conversations about a contract extension. I'd wait. I would. I mean, I would have waited on Trevor. I know, JJ, you would have waited on Trevor as well. You and I were the exception to the rule when all that came up. But there's no question I would wait on Trayvon Walker. And I'll tell you this, I would not pick up that fifth-year option for Devin Lloyd. Just not going to do it. And, yeah, I still believe there's a glimmer of hope for Lloyd with Anthony Campanile. I do. They just haven't used him the right way. He's not a complete linebacker. He should not be in coverage. He can't cover anyone. That is not his game. He should be a run-stopping linebacker with perhaps an opportunity to rush the quarterback. But we've been talking about rushing the quarterback now for 3 years, going into his 4th year. And it's just something that they've never done. But, yeah, I'm just thinking out loud here with this new defensive scheme. And are they going to find a way to perhaps do things a little bit differently? Don't know the answer to that question. Again, right now, defensively, we don't know what they're going to do. You know, it remains a surprise. Even talking to Dave Campo about it just the other night. You know, trying to figure out exactly. It feels like we know what they're going to do on the offense, right? But defense, because of the, learning from Jeff Hafley in Green Bay, that 4-3, then the 3-4, which was totally different with Brian Flores and Vic Fangio. You're talking about Anthony Campanile learning from some very good football people who believed in doing things differently. So to me, that's going to be really interesting to see what their scheme's going to be.
Now, the 2-minute drill. Serviced by Cool Cats Heating and Cooling. Locally owned and operated. We're your neighbors. CoolCatsJacks.com.
The coolest cats in town.
What do you think they're going to do on the defensive side?
As far as
scheme, I mean, but I thought that when Mike Caldwell got here, it was going to be a version of Tampa Bay's, and it wasn't. It was very boring. And then no one killed the press conference the way that Ryan Nielsen did. I mean, I thought this guy was going to be the next Bill Belichick.
Yeah.
For crying out loud.
We all drank that Kool-Aid.
Oh, there's no doubt. But, I mean, I think you have an understanding, I have an understanding of what the offense is going to look like. I don't know what the defense is going to look like.
Yeah, and we don't know what the personnel is going to be because, again, of the 10 draft picks, you would expect a good amount of those might go on the defensive side of the ball because of all the free agents they added, and there were 8 free agents total. 2 were defensive free agents?
That's it.
The other 8 were on the offense.
That's it.
So I think it's a TBD. It's a to be determined. I think there's an idea what Campanile wants to do, and I think you talk to people in Green Bay, they love the work he did with the linebackers, which makes you very excited about Devin Lloyd and Ventrell Miller and guys of that sort. But of the 10 draft picks, I would think minimum 5 or 6 of them will be defensive guys.
I would think so, too. And I would also think when they get to the Anthony Campanile and with all the talk about a defensive tackle and a corner and a safety, maybe get a linebacker who can cover.
Yeah. That's certainly a thought. And look, I mean, I think Trayvon Walker, Joshua Hines-Allen, they need a third edge. And Hayes Carline and I were talking about this earlier. Of the 10 draft picks on the defensive side of the ball, do you feel good at safety? I don't think you do yet. I know you don't feel good at corner. I don't feel good about edge rusher, at least behind Hines-Allen and Walker. Interior defensive line is interesting. I know you talked to John Ogier a lot. We had him on yesterday on the Frangie Show. All the talk about Mason Graham, and I get it, and I wouldn't be surprised if they do that. But, Rick, Mason Smith and Jordan Jefferson and Devon Hamilton and Eric Armstead, and I guess lump Tyler Lacey in there, I mean, they have dudes, right? They have guys. Now, was last year's defensive inefficiencies Ryan Nielsen related? Personnel? A little bit of both? I mean, if you believe Campanile is a better coach, maybe he can get more out of that interior D-line than Nielsen got, and then maybe it's not really necessarily a need at number 5 overall.
There's a part of me that feels like it's never going to work with Devon Hamilton. I feel like he's been given every chance. I don't know if Tyler Lacey is ever going to be a difference maker. I expect Mason Smith to be much better.
Mason Smith. Jordan Jefferson's interesting because we just never saw him
I think he's a snap count guy. I think there's a chance that he could be involved in the rotation. But I think Mason Smith obviously gets better. He was a second-round pick. And as I was talking about earlier tonight, you got to believe there's some professional pride in Eric Armstead.
Yeah.
That after how bad he was last year, that he doesn't take it upon himself to come back and play better football.
No, I agree. It was a down year for him, and I think he'll tell you that he was probably playing out of position. I don't know why he was playing outside, and now he's back to inside. And look, at the idea of a Mason Smith, Eric Armstead, Devon Hamilton, Jordan Jefferson, Tyler Lacey, 5-some in the interior D-line, on paper, that's not the worst thing imaginable, assuming Anthony Campanile and his staff get more out of him than Ryan Nielsen did.
You got everyone fired up. The Gators are going to win the national title here in college basketball, and the Jaguars are going to the Super Bowl.
I would like to think that's going to happen. I'm going to pump the brakes a little bit, although the AFC South, man, what a mean, you look at the offseason for the other three teams in the division. Indianapolis has a full-blown quarterback controversy. Houston has decided they're just not going to block for C.J. Stroud. And Tennessee gave $80 million to Dan Moore on the offensive line. That's what the AFC South did this offseason.
I'm glad they tabled the wild card getting a home team over the divisional winner because Jacksonville could win this division at 9-8.
I've never been on board with a wild card getting the home game. I think if you win your division, no matter if it's a terrible division, if you win your division, you should be rewarded with a home game.
What's coming up?
Yeah, we're going to talk to a lot of Jaguars. Ryan Roberts, Rise and Draft, A2ZSports.com. He's going to join us tonight to kind of talk about the Jaguars and the draft outlook. But it's going to be a lot of Gator basketball. David Waters of the Gators Breakdown podcast. But coming up here in the first hour, in the 8 o'clock hour, Sean Kelly, the play-by-play voice of the Florida Gators on the Gator Radio Network. And Will You Get, a Gator player that was on the 2014 Final Four team. He's playing pro ball over in France still, 10 years in France.
How about that?
For Will You Get. I had a chance to catch up with him earlier today. I think Gator fans will find that conversation very interesting.
Awesome. Have a lot of fun.
Thanks, Rick.
It's going to do it for us. JJ, good working with you once again, young man.
I'll see you soon.
Yes, I enjoyed it. That is JJ LaSelva. Thank you to Travis Holmes for joining us. Thank you to you out there for being a part of it. I don't check the text line or any of that now. The show is over outside of X or Twitter. You can always get me Ballou1010XL. That'll do it. Hackers coming up next. We'll talk again tomorrow at 6 o'clock right here on your home of the Jazz.